Hello, welcome to the Lunch with the Mayor. This is the February edition. Happy to have you joining us. If you are watching on Facebook, please give us your comments and your feedback or questions. I'm happy to answer those along the way. If you are watching this later on YouTube, as always, you can contact us at rdaniel@columbiacity.net. 260-248-5111, or if it's just a generalized question not directed at me, you can do info@columbiacity.net. You can also get on Facebook and give us your comments or feedback in a private message to the City of Columbia City, Indiana government. That would be okay too. I don't know how you can not notice. Next to me is our guest today, our guest interview, and that is the Northeast District City Council member, which is Brent Bockelman. Hello, Brent.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
I am well.
Good. Thank you for being my guest today. I appreciate that. We're going to talk a little bit about, for you to get to know Brent, he's a fairly new council member, joined was it March, April last year?
I was going to say early mid-year last year.
Of last year. So approaching a year now on council. And so we're going to talk a little bit about him and why he decided to run for council. But let's start off with the basics. That obviously we've already said your name. But what's your occupation? How long have you lived in Columbia City? What kind of background information would be beneficial for the residents to know?
I'll let them know I am a Whitley County resident, have been my entire life. I've lived in the city for 21 years.
Okay.
Live over in the Northeast District, over off of Jefferson Street. Have 2 children and a wife. And my oldest daughter is down at the University of Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Youngest daughter is still here, goes to Columbia City High School.
Okay.
For occupation, I work actually for the county. Work in the planning and building department for the county. I've done that for about 5 years now. Previous to that, I spent 20 years at Moore Farm Store.
Okay.
So have worked and lived in the community for about as long as I can remember. Yeah.
So in your occupation over at the county, what are your roles and responsibilities there?
Roles there are, from a planning standpoint, are a lot of land use.
Mm-hmm.
So in the county, if it's outside of the city's jurisdiction, including Larwell, then if there's any subdivisions, rezonings, variances, special exceptions, those are all the petitions that I deal with.
Okay.
Also work closely as staff to the Redevelopment Commission for the county.
Gotcha.
So all the Plan Commission and Board of Zoning Appeals.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
As well as some of the permitting.
Okay.
That goes on from a building standpoint as well.
And what attracted you to Columbia City? I mean, obviously you've been here, right? But what kept you here?
I would say the family dynamic.
Sure.
I love this community. I like people.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know I like people. So going and knowing people where you live is something that I enjoy. I like being active in the community. I like seeing the community thrive and continue to do better.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of love in this community, and that's something that I really appreciate.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. So you talked about a little bit, but what council district do you represent, and kind of what are some of the neighborhoods that are included in that district?
I am in the Northeast. That would be Columbia Shores, by the old high school, on down Jefferson Street, so your Deer Path, Rolling Hills, and it goes on up Main Street north up to 30.
Mm-hmm.
Morses Park area is in that and goes out to Irish Glen even, and then north onto the possible future subdivision out there off of Widman Road.
Gotcha. Okay. And so we talked a little bit about it, but how long have you served on council and what drove you to, I'll say, it's run for office, but you were caucused in. So so maybe talk about what drove you to decide to throw your name in the hat, if you will, for the caucus.
family-wise, I've got a long history of political activity in my family. So my stepdad, Bill Overdeer, was on county council for years and years and years. So being part of the political realm, let's say, was not something that was new to me. I've always had kind of inspirations of
Sure.
being active in some sort of political fashion. And with this seat, I'll say, that opened up, I'm like, you know what? I think
I think it's time.
I think it's time that
Yeah.
I can get started in some of this.
Sure.
My children are getting grown enough that that family part of it is they're just getting older.
Yeah.
I feel more
Yeah.
comfortable spending some time doing some other things.
Yeah.
My oldest daughter Natalie calls them clubs. I'm in a lot of clubs.
You're in a lot of clubs.
I'm in a lot of clubs. The Duck Club, the Old Settlers Club, all that. kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but do like to be active. I know a lot of people in Columbia City, so hopefully that allows there to be some comfort and communication that, hey, I got this issue. Who's my city councilman? Well, Brent. I'll just give him a call, or I'll stop by his house, or
Yeah.
stop by at work. You know, I want to be very approachable and very open to communication. So I thought I'd be pretty good at it.
Yeah.
To be quite honest.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that for sure. And so the reason there was a caucus, just for the public's knowledge, the reason there was a caucus was previously Leslie Robinson was the Northeast District Council member and moved over, I guess, to clerk treasurer. Won't say up, over to clerk treasurer, and so that opened the vacancy, and so there was a caucus, and you were elected. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
A year late.
Yeah. No worries.
You actually mentioned it, so I want to maybe touch on that for a second. You said you're part of a lot of clubs, as your daughter calls
Yeah.
it.
Uh-huh.
But one of those things is Old Settlers.
Yes.
You want to talk about your role in Old Settlers?
Sure. So I had been asked, trying to think how many years ago it was now. 3, I believe. So Old Settlers presidencies, you have your vice presidents, you have a second vice, first vice, and then it's kind of a progression. So in 2027, I will be the president of the Old Settlers Association. So I've kind of worked up through the responsibilities, but it was a great honor. Again, I'm going to reflect back to Bill Overdeer. He was a past president, something that he took great pride in. It's a fantastic organization that does more than just the Midway downtown. There's a lot more involved in it. The main focus and pride that we take is giving back to the community.
Gotcha.
So there are grants that we are able to provide from the proceeds that come from the fair, and places like Troy School, the Forklift, United Way, the Y, a lot of nonprofit organizations that we're allowed and able to help with some funds
Sure.
for proceeds to go back to that.
That's great. That's great. Well, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
And this actually kind of goes along with that same idea, but what past community projects have you been involved in, and really why are you passionate about those clubs?
Well, I'm on Ducks Unlimited, which is a conservation organization that does help with restoration of wetlands. So there's a lot of nature. I'm a hunter. I'm a fisher.
Yeah.
I like my outdoor stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why I would be passionate about that. That
Yeah.
was again something that Bill kind of
Got
me into,
Yeah.
and participated together with him on. Another one that I'm involved in, I've kind of stepped away a little bit, but Magical Meadows, which is a horse therapy facility over in Warsaw,
Oh, okay.
where my daughter, who does have disabilities, had gotten involved in for horse riding.
Oh, very nice.
So I had been on their board of directors for multiple years.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a passion of mine, helping those who have special needs.
Yeah.
Old Settlers, I've kind of explained that a little bit. I'm also on the board at my church, which is really, really important to me. They do a lot of great things. It's the warehouse, give them a little plug. They operate the forklift, which is basically providing
Meals,
for,
yeah.
for less fortunate here in town. They also do Celebrate Recovery, as well as regular church services. So faith is pretty important to me. So
Yeah,
I love Jesus.
that's very
Um,
nice. Me too.
Right?
Me too.
Then I'm on, obviously, city council. I like to be a representative of my people. So,
Yeah.
so if my people have concerns, I hope that they're comfortable coming and reaching out to me and
Yeah.
helping me do what they've asked me to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trying to think of any other clubs. I'm on the tree board club.
Oh yes, the tree board club.
Yeah.
Yes.
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 That is. I was on it before I was council,
Yep.
and then my position from there went as a representative of council
Yes.
instead of appointee of mayor.
Yeah.
This is the second time I've been on tree board. I was on the tree board once back in the '90s.
Ah.
So I'm kind of back, and that's kind of the responsibility of taking care of the trees that are in the city's right of way, and making sure that we do have an urban forest.
Yes.
That we do have green space in the city. So that's something,
Sure.
again, we get back to that nature outdoors.
Yeah. Well,
outdoorsy stuff as well.
I'm a big Teddy Roosevelt guy. I think he was one of our greatest presidents. I really do. And so kind of along that way with the conservation and, you know, obviously just all the things that he did during his time in office, but still just leans that way to that
Yeah.
kind of conservation
Yeah.
thing is
Yeah,
at the end of the day. I mean,
trying to make the place a better place when we move on.
yes,
Right?
absolutely.
Have it be a good place for our community. Another one that I want to touch on because
Yeah.
it's coming up is Night to Shine.
Yeah.
So the Tim Tebow Foundation has the Night to Shine, which is February 13th, First Church of God. It's a phenomenal night. It's an evening similar to a prom for adults with disabilities, and my daughter participates in that every year. So I'm on the core team for that organization as well. So that's coming up, and it's
Well,
getting bigger and better.
And I think they always take volunteers, right? Like
Yeah,
they're always looking
yeah.
for volunteers.
Yes, absolutely.
And what are those kind of roles, if I
It's-
can ask a little bit?
Yeah, the volunteers. It's the second largest volunteer organization in Whitley County behind
Oh.
behind the 4-H fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, and they're probably going to correct me if I'm wrong. We have right now we're pushing in that 145 or so honored guests. Each one of those guests is going to have an individual buddy, so they're going to have a one-on-one buddy.
Yeah.
So that automatically puts us at that 150 volunteers to be their buddy, and then we have volunteers. The extension homemakers cook the meal. You have red carpet. So as they walk in to
Yeah.
the facility, there's velvet rope, red carpet,
Paparazzi. All that
paparazzi.
kinda,
They
yeah,
are
yeah.
rooted on. So that is a group of volunteers. There's karaoke.
Ah.
So there's volunteers that do karaoke.
Yeah.
There's all these other activities, coloring rooms, movie rooms, therapy dogs, drumming for joy. I mean, there's just so many different activities.
Yeah.
They're doing bingo this year.
That's awesome.
And I think Andy Moore's reading off the bingo numbers, so that could be really
That's
interesting this year.
Yeah.
But it's just a fun. Then we have a respite room. That's where my wife Cindy and I are team leads, and that is for the caregivers. So we have got a special area
Yeah.
for the home health care workers, the parents to come and just relax.
Yes.
We've got massage therapy.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think we are working on 5 right now. 5 massage therapists coming to
That's
do
so
chair
awesome.
massages.
That's so great.
Play some cards, have some food,
Yeah.
relax, watch their honored guests have a good time.
Yes, that's so cool. That's so cool. Well, I you know, again, I always I love seeing all the pictures on Facebook after the event. It's just so cool to see the smiles. I mean,
There's so much
Ah.
joy that night.
yes, that's so neat. That's so neat. Well, I already have a couple of questions here, and the main questions are about your outfit. So,
Okay.
so let's start there.
Okay. So, today is the American Heart Association's Wear Red Day. My wife found these for me on Amazon.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
if I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna go in.
Yeah.
So, but it also
Yes.
it's at the county. Our health department had applied and received a grant. So Emily Banks, who is Chad Banks' daughter, kind of spearheaded this part of the event of Wear Red, and you guys go all out. In honor of her dad, Chad, who did amazing things for our county.
Yes.
So it didn't take much for Emily kind of to.
She didn't have to nudge hard to get you to.
Didn't have to nudge hard, but our office, there's multiple offices in the county government that
Sure.
if there's a competition that we can get into.
There we go. That's
yeah.
where it is.
So
Okay.
So yeah, our whole office was in red. If you went over to the county building, there's a lot of red over
Yes.
there. But so kudos to Emily.
Yes,
for-
absolutely.
For getting this going and honoring her father in this.
Absolutely. Well, I'll say I did wear red, although mine's a little bit more burgundy than yours is.
I win this game.
But I think you do
I
win
win.
that one, and I do notice the Cincinnati
Yep.
University of Cincinnati shirt underneath
Yep.
it there for your daughter. So
Got to rep Natalie.
that's good. That's great. So what is the most fulfilling thing, at least in this 9-10 months that you've been in council?
Sure.
What's the most fulfilling thing about being on council?
It's kind of an interesting question because we've had a lot of minor things
Yeah.
that have come through
Yeah.
through the council, whether it be ordinances and planning stuff. But I probably want to say the most fulfilling is the relationships that I've kind of built. A lot of these people I've known. I've known Kelly Searball and Terry and Tom and all. I've known these people for years, but not in a working relationship. More of a hey, how's it going?
Like a buddy relationship. Yeah,
Goof around friend
Yeah.
type of relationship. But
Sure.
to get into a working relationship and see how everybody on council as well as department heads and on down into department employees work together
Sure.
and have conversations, not always easy conversations, but conversations and the amount of respect that's given all the way through.
Yeah.
It's really neat to see how, even though we don't agree on everything, but there's that amount of respect there that, okay, I'll listen to your side,
Yeah.
you listen to my side,
Yep.
we'll talk about it.
Figure out where we're at.
And figure out,
Yeah.
but pretty adamant that we're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
That you don't get everywhere. So I would say that's probably the most fulfilling part to me is the communication and relationships that are between the members of it,
Yeah.
of the city.
I think on that note a little bit, I think, obviously what we've seen over, I think the last maybe 5 to 10 years is you see some of the negativity and distrust of the federal government start to creep down into state and definitely into local government. And I think there's a lot of times where individuals, they think that I don't know. Sometimes there's a purveyance, if you will, of individuals wanting to just benefit themselves, right? And I obviously, like I said, you've been on council for 9 or 10 months now, and I think you've seen the fact that we, to that point, like to work together. We want to try to find common ground. We want to try to find what's best for the city, and not just the city as in the broader, but for the individual if we can, right? And it's balancing those individual rights with the collective good, and sometimes that's easy, and sometimes that's really hard.
Sometimes it's really hard.
And when we're living within feet of each other, a house and a house, and they're within feet of each other, it creates a little bit of a different challenge than when you're living within, a quarter mile or 500 or 1,000 feet
Right.
from each other, right? And so that balancing aim is a hard thing to do.
It is, and the one thing I will say about the council that we have now, and wasn't involved in the past, so I can't really.
Mhm.
But you've got people on there that really want to hear from their constituents. You look on the website, my email, my cell phone is on there, and it's on there for a reason. It's because we
Yeah.
want to hear.
Yeah.
We want to know what your thoughts, because we are your representative. So if my constituents want me to go in one direction, even if it's not the direction that my opinion says
Sure.
I want to go,
Sure.
that's not my job.
Yeah, right.
My job isn't
Right.
to throw my opinion out, it's to do what's best for
Yeah.
the group that I represent.
Sure.
But I do think that we've got a good group of people that really take a lot of that into account. you
Sure.
know?
Absolutely. So what is one thing along that line? What's one thing that the public doesn't know that you do as a council member? Is there one thing?
Well, not necessarily I shouldn't say myself.
Yeah.
I would say that what some people don't understand about council is it's not just showing up for a meeting and reviewing what's on for that meeting and doing that. You have people, I serve on tree board, regional sewer district. There's other boards that as council members, we are members of.
You got an ordinance committee too?
I am not.
Oh, you're not.
I'm
Okay.
not.
Okay.
Tad is.
Tad is, yeah. I
So
was gonna
Tad's
say.
on ordinance committee, redevelopment commission for the city.
yep.
So there's a lot more that goes to a council member's responsibilities
Yeah.
than just
Yeah.
being on the council meeting
Yeah.
video.
It's council,
Two
but then
times-
there's
2 times a
also,
month.
yeah, but there's
Right.
also other committees that you all divvy up effectively to say, okay, I'll take this, you take this, I take this,
Yep.
and
Yep.
so it is more than just showing up to a meeting.
It's more than
Yeah.
just showing up to
Yeah.
a meeting and
Yeah.
but I think all of the council members are happy to take those on and
Yeah.
and serve. That's what they signed up for. That's what they wanted to do. So that's
Yeah.
what they do.
So if you have questions for Brent, now's the time to put those on there as we try to wrap up.
Be nice.
Some of the questions I have. Here's maybe a bigger, broader question, and that is, what are some of your goals for the future of our city?
I think that one of the important things of city and growth, I think we want to concentrate on responsible growth.
Yes.
But also, we, like everywhere, we have more people that would love to live in the city. There's just no place to live. There's no place to go. And that's not necessarily single-family housing. It's not having a lot and
Yeah.
building a house. I think the need, both from a young person wanting
Sure.
to stay,
Mm-hmm.
as well as some older people that want to stay as well, but can't upkeep a big house.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
that type of thing. I think we need to find a good way to incorporate housing at an affordable level in the city limits, so that we can have further growth, but again, responsible growth and realistic, logical growth, not just, if there's a 30-lot subdivision going out there, that's what we need. Maybe it is, maybe
Yeah.
it isn't.
Yeah.
Maybe we need something else.
Yeah.
So I guess trying to encourage growth in the city that does allow for there to be more housing opportunities for folks that want to remain here.
Yeah, and I think what I also heard in there was the life cycles of housing, and by that I mean, when you are when you come out of high school and let's say you're a young adult, but a single young adult or something like that, there's a different kind of house you're going to want than when you have a family of 4 or 5 or whatever, and that's different than when you're when your kids have gone off to college and you have your 2 people left in the
Right,
house, right?
right.
And so thinking through that, as well as then the next step of, okay, well, unfortunately maybe a spouse dies or something like that, and now you're in this big house with potentially a multiple bedrooms or whatever, and maybe it's time to downsize even further than that. So having the different kinds of housing and the life cycles of housing along that way, I mean, how they incorporate that's a tricky thing, but I
It
think
is.
but I think it's well needed in the community. Sure.
Well, and we could get into this at depth.
Sure.
But we're in an interesting time right now where we have our youth that aren't prepared to buy property or buy a house.
Yeah.
We have I'm going to say older, so forgive me if that's not proper terminology. Older
Yes.
folks
Yes.
that either don't want to, they want to travel more. They don't want to maintain an acre yard. They don't want to have those responsibilities. So we have this large group of youth.
Yes.
We have a large group of 60 plus that are kind of looking at the same market of
Yes.
need and want.
Yes.
So now we have this large group of people that we can't serve properly in our community because some of that stuff isn't there.
Yes.
So we can get down that rabbit hole.
Absolutely. Well, and again, I think you're in a really unique position. While you may not necessarily work a lot on city stuff at the planning and building department, you do work a lot on zoning, and you work on housing developments and things out in the county and things like that. So
and where these things should go.
yes, absolutely.
That's the trickier part of it.
And I think that's so. Again, I know there's individuals out there that are very maybe anti planning or anti zoning, right? But ultimately in the city, you have to have some form or mechanism so you don't have, big factory butting right up against a single family home, or you don't have a big apartment complex right next to a commercial building or something like there's zoning for a reason to help keep some order to the way our society goes, right? And so it's a hard balance to say property rights versus
Exactly.
what is good for not only now but also into the future.
Right.
So,
And I do think that the people that are included in this council and department heads even
Yeah.
are looking towards, which is encouraged by you, so I'll give you
Appreciate
credit
that.
for this,
Appreciate it.
of looking that 5, 10, 20, 30 years down the road
Yeah.
of what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
Let's make sure what we're doing now is going to cascade into success in the future,
Well, sure.
and but have a plan for that.
Yeah. Yes.
Even if it's a step-by-step
Yes.
type situation, we got to take this step before we take the next step. But looking that further down the road, not just checking some stuff off and
Yes.
leaving it for somebody else, and
Yeah.
setting up for
Exactly.
future success in the community.
And sometimes we have to be reactionary.
Mhm.
But the more we can plan and think through how do we get point A attached to point B and make sure utilities to it and make sure that we have the public safety to back it up and all those kind of things. It really comes down to community planning, which is literally part of what you do,
It is.
right? So,
Yeah.
so
And the city's dealing with some of the same issues that the county is, for sure, of growth and bringing the business, bringing the manufacturing,
Yeah.
bringing that in,
Yeah.
but in a responsible way that is beneficial to everybody in the community.
Absolutely. Okay, so as we kind of wrap up here, how can residents in your district contact you?
Multiple different ways. I am on Facebook. Feel free to Facebook message me. My cell phone number is on the Columbia City's website. So if you go on columbiacity.net, go under Government Council, you'll see my picture. I look a little different than what I do today. But my email and phone number are listed on there. And so yeah, reach out to me however you want to. All
So
those are available.
a lot of comments about your outfit is
Right.
mentioned.
Sure. Did my mom say anything?
She did say she's watching. She didn't comment on your outfit, but
Sure, I'll hear about it later.
yeah. Let's see. So love the outfit and what it stands for. Becky Berry says that her dad died from heart disease, so appreciate what it stands
Absolutely.
for. And I'm just kind of scrolling here.
Yeah, you might want to screen some of those probably.
Rosie's saying you're awesome, so that's a good thing.
Thanks, Rosie.
Sandy says thank you for your civic mindedness. So Tam Shepard says, I do understand what you're saying about zoning. I'd like to ask why I can't have a tiny home on my property that isn't in town.
That is not in town?
That's what she says, yeah. Why do we have to have a certain square footage even if we're older? Is that a question better for Nathan?
No, I could answer that question.
Okay.
But it's totally going to depend on what your zoning is. If you're outside of the city's jurisdiction, then yes, I can answer that. But it will depend on what your address and what your zoning is. There are certain zoning areas that we have made amendments to the zoning code to eliminate the minimum square footage. So I would say contact me at my office, and I can go into a little bit more detail on that and see if that's something that, because that's just happened fairly recently. There are other development standards, setbacks, and whatnot that are in place to basically intent of that part of the code was to kind of control density in our rural areas. So there are other development standards in place to control that where square footage of a dwelling did not need to be there. Therefore, it's kind of opened up to some of that. So if you're thinking, if you checked on this 3 years ago and you were given that development standard, that standard may not be in existence right now.
Gotcha. So contact Planning and Building Department.
260-248-3112.
There you go. There you full service today, all around
I'm
here.
happy to help you with that.
Barb says, I'm just glad you explained your outfit. So
Perfect.
and Becky says we're both awesome. So anything else? Any last moment things you would like the public to know about you, about your service to council, about anything else about the city? This is your last chance.
This is not my last chance. I could do this.
You're right.
I could do
You
this.
do
I could do this
Tuesday
anytime.
night. You
But
can do
on as for today,
Yes.
no.
Yeah.
I appreciate everybody's confidence that I will do a good job for the community. Look forward to continuing on, and let me know if I can do anything for you.
Great. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you
You are
being
very
on.
welcome.
And again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns for Brent, especially if you are a resident of his district, the Northeast District, you can get on columbiacity.net, go to council, and you can find his information there.
Yep.
Great.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Appreciate
Good seeing
your time.
you as always.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Yes, thank you. So we're going to go ahead now and talk through a couple of different project updates. A lot of these are going to be very similar to what you heard last month. And that's because there hasn't been a whole lot of things that have happened because of the weather and things to that effect. But here are the things that I can kind of update you on at this moment in time. And as always, if you have questions, feel free to shoot them to me. I am looking at them here on my phone as I normally do. So, comprehensive plan, we are still working on those recommendations, or I should say our consultant is working on those recommendations. Plan to roll out this spring. I think it's going to go in front of council in April, but go in front of Plan Commission before that in April. So expect that to be coming out here shortly. Again, took lots of good comments and recommendations mid last year, I think, and so taking those into consideration and moving those forward. Blue River Trail South, again, the railroad crossing is delayed until spring by the railroad and the contractor. They'll be the ones that'll be working on that project once weather breaks, and with the snow we got today and stuff, and the weather forecast in the future shows a little bit of warmth potentially, but also snow. So, take it for what it is. This is the last couple of winters have been fairly mild. This winter has not. We have had a lot of snow already, and I anticipate we'll continue to get snow into the future for this year. So, thankfully, salt supplies are good. Our guys are good. All that stuff. So, that's great. Former Whitley County Jail Redevelopment Commission is working on a new RFP. So, I told you, I think last time, that the request for proposal was put out by the Redevelopment Commission. It has been pulled back because we kind of got some recommendations of ways in which we can improve it. And so we are going to be issuing a new request for proposal on the former jail. The probation department is out. The county probation department is out of the jail now. And so we are now working on that kind of next step for that project. Obviously, looking for either private investment or public-private partnership. So stay tuned for that. It has not been sitting vacant. In fact, I think it's only now been vacant for 3 days, I think, at this point. I know that there were some questions on social media about that, but just know it has not been vacant. It has been being used, and we continue to move forward with the request for proposal to get either private investment or public-private partnership. We did not pay anything for that jail. We are hoping and working toward something where it's going to be beneficial to taxpayers as well as beneficial to the downtown. So, Eagle Park, we have selected a firm to lead the amphitheater project. So Meyer Nasium is the firm that we've selected. We had 4 different responders to the RFP, RFQ process. That's request for proposal and qualifications. So we narrowed that down to 2. We did interviews of 2, and then we selected Meyer Nasium, who has a long history of doing these kind of BOT projects. That's build, operate, transfer, BOT. So that's a positive thing. The firm is now working to provide a maximum guaranteed price, and after we get that number, that's for construction and everything else. After we get that number, then we are going to be the council has to make a decision on how we fund the project, whether we move forward, things like that. So there's still a fair amount of process still to go. Still looking toward an August 2027 opening timeline. So stay tuned on that, and we will continue trying to push forward as much as we can. Dog Park, the utilities to the site are now completed. They are now installed, and now we're working on quotes for the fence. As mentioned previously, we're hoping to have that open sometime this summer. So quotes for the fence are coming in. That is the area near the former skate park and nearby that nearby land there, skate park. There was a kind of an old basketball court there. That's the area where our new dog park is going to be. Kind of goes into the woods a little bit, so that helps from a nature perspective and lots of other cool things. So I think it's going to be a great thing. Again, as I've mentioned in the past, the dog park is not what you may think a dog park is. A dog park takes registration of animals. It makes sure animals are up to date. It ensures that there's some order, if you will, to the usage of that. There is some kind of a small, there'll be probably some kind of small registration fee in order to get the key or the fob to get in and out of the dog park and things like that. There's a lot of things still left to do. It's not just, hey, let's put up 4 walls of a fence and just go. It's not that easy. So just so you're aware of that, just in case you have questions. I did get a question or a comment. Shout out Street Department for getting the streets clean so fast. Thank you. They have been rock stars this year. I'm really, really proud of our street department. They've been killing it. And the last snowstorm we got, the big one, they went, they did 2 straight days of 12-hour days, and then came in and was knocking things back and trying to haul things away, and there's been a lot of a lot of snow this year. So thanks to them for their work on that, and thanks for your comment there, Q. Appreciate that. Westgate Phase 3 reconstruction. As I mentioned, we didn't get community crossings this last round. We are awaiting the next round of funding. There is a bill going through the legislature right now where there may be an additional round of funding for community crossings. If so, we will 100% be applying to that. If not, we'll wait till their normal funding round, which I think goes in July. So, but the goal is for us to finish the Westgate project, and that's Phase 3 of the reconstruction of that neighborhood. If you're new to the game here, if you haven't heard my spiel about Westgate was brought into the city limits back in the 90s, and really wasn't. So they got sewer and water, but never was really invested in by the city. They didn't have, appropriate sized streets. They didn't have any curbs. They didn't have any sidewalks. They didn't have good drainage. All that kind of stuff. So that's been one of our goals. We did the same kind of project up in the Wooddale neighborhood on the north side of 30 there for the same purpose. They came in around the same time. I think it was after Westgate, but Wooddale is kind of our test case, whereas Westgate, it's taken 3 phases. Wooddale was 1 phase. So that's gone. The first 2 phases I think have gone pretty well. We just have to finish the 3rd phase, but we can't do that without grant dollars. We just don't have the dollar set aside, or don't have the dollar available, if you will, to do that. We can get $1 million from Community Crossings grant program for that project. So that's where we're going after. So I think I saw something pop up here. Let's see. Wish people walking their dogs would pick up their waste instead of leaving it in the yards and sidewalks. Yes, it is a law. You're supposed to pick up your dog waste. So please do that. Thanks, Savannah. Appreciate the thought process into the dog park. Appreciate that very much. Again, we're trying to do that in a fair way and a good way, to make sure we're being straightforward with people and maybe dispelling some of the rumors of what, or thoughts of maybe what a dog park could be versus what it actually is. So appreciate that. The last one I added to this is a downtown project, and I've talked about it a little bit in different times, different ways. We have a downtown preliminary engineering report that is being created right now by the same people who did our actual downtown plan 2-ish years ago, I think. So we're working on the downtown preliminary engineering report to do a downtown revitalization project. So the infrastructure in downtown is fairly tired. The last time we did a revitalization project in downtown was in the 90s under Mayor Techmeyer, and I think it's a prime opportunity to move forward with that. I've been talking about this project for years. I've wanted to do it. I feel like I have to get Westgate done first, but I think it's really, really important. We don't have any stormwater drainage downtown, so all of downtown's drainage goes to the sewer plant, which means we're spending money on chemicals to treat it. It means we're spending lots of money on discharge and on things like that we shouldn't have to be spending because it's stormwater. It should go into the river, not to our sewer plant. So long story short is we're working on that part, and we're hoping that project will happen maybe in the 28-29 time frame, 2028, 2029-ish. So a couple of miscellaneous items here. Congratulations to my former co-pilot now, Rosie Coyle, on her retirement. I think she was watching. She served over 60 years for the city and was clerk treasurer for 10 and a half terms. And so appreciate all of her work and her partnership. She will be sorely missed. But I know Leslie is doing a great job down there. She's taken over as the clerk treasurer and is doing a great job. And I know that Rosie has full confidence in her and her abilities. So congratulations to Rosie on her retirement. I did get a question here. Let's see if I can try to answer it. Is anything going to go in the Walgreens building? Craig asks. Good question, Craig. I don't know. That is something between the private property owner and individuals that may be interested in the property. I will say, there are plenty of individuals who are interested in growing here in the community from a commercial standpoint, but the biggest issue is the size of that building, right? So anytime a new commercial development comes in, they're looking for a certain square footage, they're looking for a certain population mark, they're looking for a certain traffic count, they're looking for all those kind of things. And so the Walgreens building may not be a good fit for everybody, but it may be a good fit for somebody. So then it has to be the right price point on top of that, right? So it can be the right square footage and the right traffic count and the right sight line. But if the price is too high, they can't take that risk. So again, I'm not saying any of these are the case outside of saying there's a lot of factors that go into that. And so we've not heard anything as of right now as to what's going in there. I've heard rumbles of potential things, but nothing that's concrete. So I know that's not super helpful, but hopefully that at least gives some background and information. Columbia City Connect, as I mentioned last month, is hosting a foodie February with downtown Columbia City restaurants. So drinks, I think, is this week. So special drinks this week. I know that CC Nutrition, obviously, they're a big part of our downtown, and they have just a whole host of different kinds of drinks there, but others are as well. So drinks next week is Sweet Tooth. I'm assuming that means desserts. Bites to Share is the third week, and then Fan Favorites is the last week. So Columbia City Connect is hosting that. As I mentioned, we had, on a different note, snow obviously surprised us a bit this morning. I think surprised everybody. As a reminder, I do ask, please help us to by moving your cars either before a snowfall, or in this case, if you was caught, let's try this again. If you were caught by surprise, like I was, move your cars off the road if you would, so that we can plow curb to curb. That would be great. I will make a note. I know there was some questions on City Retreat, and I didn't get into those, but I will just tell you, we have been doing, the City of Columbia City has been doing City Retreat since the early 2000s. This has been something that's kind of been the reason, I don't think it's the only reason, but I think it is one of the reasons why our community continues to be a bit of a shining star, if you will, when it comes to our growth, when it comes to the way in which we work together, when it comes to our camaraderie, when it looks at our planning, things to that effect. That time is really set aside so that our elected officials can hear from the department heads as to what they see coming up in the future, what kind of projects they have, and things to that effect. And it takes literally it takes a minimum of 10 to 12 hours to go through all those things, not to mention breaks in between and things to that effect. So I'll just mention that. I listen, there's going to be some people that are not going to believe me on that, and that's fine. But I will tell you, I think it's really, really critical to our success. I believe in it wholeheartedly. I talked about that at board and council. I don't want to belabor that, but I think it's really, really beneficial, generally speaking. So a couple of other things I just want to maybe note as well. There is some legislation that's going through the legislature right now that some is going to be harmful, some is going to be helpful to us. So there's a piece of legislation right now that could help ease. Let me back up. So Senate Enrolled Act 1, you've heard me talk about it. I'm not going to go through the whole points again, but a part of that is that it impacts our income tax dollars. So while the bill was dubbed a property tax bill, and it did cut about $400,000 out of our budget this year, which equals to, give or take, about 4 or 5 employees. Now you may be saying, wait a minute, they don't get $100,000 a year. You're right, but with benefits included as a part of that, that's 4 or 5 employees of the city. That means 4 or 5 plow drivers, or 4 or 5 park employees, or 4 or 5 police officers, or 4 or 5 firefighters, right? Now, we were able to finagle some things and to work some different things in the budget to ensure that nobody lost their job and we can still provide service. But there's another part of Senate Enrolled Act 1 that impacts our income tax dollars, and again could impact us to the tune of $200-ish thousand per year, which again has an impact on lots of other things. So we're hoping, I say all this stuff just to say, we're hoping that the legislature will take action this year to fix the income tax side of this. Now, at the end of the day, I'm going to be really honest with you by saying the changes that they've made is going to make you end up paying more and getting probably less services, okay? Unless they can fix some of these issues, you're going to end up paying more and getting less for your money, which is really a complicated thing, and I could go into all the details of that, but we're really hoping that we can make the changes needed at the legislature this year to hopefully save you money and be able to continue providing the services that we provide. So if you see an article, an op-ed in the newspaper, either Journal-Gazette or the local Post and Mail, just from me, just know that I try to explain that a little bit. So stay tuned for that. I did have a couple of things that popped up here, so let's see. What is in the building next to Dairy Queen, the old Farm Credit building? I believe that is a dentist office. I believe so. That's what my mind is telling me. Yes, Main Street Dentist moving from small building by TSC, says Christopher Work. So thanks for that. What weather service radar does city officials use to decide to activate the warning signals? Good question, Alan. We actually use the National Weather Service. So when they issue a tornado warning, typically that's what we send the sirens out on. Every once in a while, a severe thunderstorm warning, if there is really major things that we need the public to know, then that's when we do that. But 98% of the time, it needs to be a tornado warning issued by the National Weather Service. So hopefully that answers your question on that. Q says, please clear the snow around your fire hydrants near your residences. Highly suggest that. It makes it a heck of a lot easier when our firefighters, God forbid, have to come to your house or come to a house nearby you, and they have to try to figure out where the fire hydrant is. We are getting better when it comes to technology of figuring out where exactly GIS-wise that is in a neighborhood or in a cul-de-sac. But you clearing out the fire hydrant from the snow around the fire hydrant helps us. It makes it quicker and more effective. We can get attached really quickly and go from there. So I appreciate that. I would highly suggest that as well. I think that answers most of the questions there. Another bill, just one more bill I want to talk about legislative-wise, just so you're aware. House Bill 1001 is a really bad bill. I'm just going to be very candid with you. It's a really bad bill. It takes power away from the local planning commissions and certainly residents, because the planning commissions are where residents give input on different developments like we just talked about. And this bill basically gives more power to those builders, to the actual, the builders of homes and apartments and things like that. Effectively, what it does is it allows, in a way, it allows larger housing projects to be located right next to single-family homes. So you could have a 2 or 3 story townhouse or something like that located right next to a single-family home. There's lots of issues with it. We are working really hard to fix the bill in the legislature, but I wanted to let you know House Bill 1001 needs a ton of work. I would encourage you, if you like to, if you like local, local control, if you like to know who's on your planning commission, if you like to have a say in your planning commission, things like that, I'd take a look at House Bill 1001 and really consider maybe contacting a legislator or giving your opinion and feedback. I think it's a really bad bill, and we're hoping that the Senate, so it passed the House, moved to the Senate. We're talking about Indiana Senate, and the Indiana Senate is hopefully making changes to it in some way, shape, or form. So I just want to let you know that in advance. We want to make sure that the power resides with our residents and resides in a way that residents have input instead of just automatically allowing certain things. So I want to encourage you to take a look at House Bill 1001. Okay. One last thing before we get to calendar items, because we are growing close on time. I'm sorry, I kind of have a bit of a sore throat, so I've been drinking a lot of water, so I apologize for that. Another reminder, I guess, on the, I talked about this last time, so if you want more in-depth conversation or want more in-depth knowledge about the process and what we're doing and why we're doing it, then go to the last Lunch with the Mayor program. But in any case, reminder about our utility rate proposal. There's roughly $13.6 million in capital investments that are going to need to happen in the next 5 years. The bill is going to change. Your utility bill is going to go up. Just so you know, it's an average of about 3.5% increase in all the utilities charges per year for the 3 years. So on average, again, average meaning 4,000 gallons typically for sewer and water. Electric, I think electric's 1,000, but it's not 1,000. I don't remember what electric is, but the normal electric usage, let's say it that way. But in any case, average increase for 2026 is going to be roughly $10 a month. And that's made up of $2.99 for sewer, $3.52 for stormwater, $2.06 for water, and $1.45 for electric. That's for 2026. And again, this is where again, I think I talked about this last time, the challenge of getting all your utilities in one bill versus getting different bills. It's still $10 out of your wallet no matter how you do it, but it ends up being a little bit here, a little bit there, and it all adds up on one bill. But I do say that to say there is 13.6 million in capital investments we're going to have to make in the next 5 years. So we're trying to be proactive and give little increases along the way rather than it being a big swing. That's been something we've tried to do for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years now. So we're working on that. So okay, there's a couple of things that came in here. Christopher says, good luck in the Indiana legislators to listen and respond. I've been trying to get in touch with state rep and state senator since September. Neither one has responded. Okay, I would try. I wish I could tell you how better to try. Email, phone call. I know you've tried all those things outside of maybe showing up to their office. I don't know. I wish I could give you a better reaction to that. Next time I see him, I'll mention to him and just see if see there. Never understood why there isn't a regulation of having at least 25 feet space between homes and businesses being built for fire safety issues, new developments. They're too close together, says Alan. I know that there are some regulations. I don't know that it's 25 feet by any means, but I think that there are some regulations there, although I do think that there is some ability by the Planning Commission to waive some of those, maybe BZA, Board of Zoning Appeals, to waive some of those regulations as well. Again, you can get more of that information from the Planning and Building Department. That is the county and city Planning and Building Department. They handle both. So, good question. That is the answer I have for you right now. So, here's some upcoming events. We'll burn through this pretty quickly here. Upcoming events. Tonight and tomorrow night is Father-Daughter Dance at the 4-H Fairgrounds. Father-Daughter Dance is happening. Come rain, come snow, come sleet, come ice, whatever. Father-Daughter Dance is on tonight and on tomorrow night. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, that was Friday and Saturday. But just so you know, it is on. Tomorrow, Babe has Babe, Beds and Britches, etc. Organization has Dads and Donuts event from 10 to 11:30 at their property here in downtown Columbia City. Tomorrow is the 3rd annual Bowl-a-thon for Giving Gardens at the main bowl from 1 to 3 p.m. February 10th is the Board of Works and City Council meeting at 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. respectively. February 15th is Cricket Wireless grand reopening. That was rescheduled, just so you know. I think it was supposed to be Sunday. Yeah, and now is the 15th. So that's from 1 to 4 p.m. I think they're doing prize drawings and things like that. City Hall is closed for President's Day on the 16th. The 24th has Empower Whitley Women by the Whitley County Health Department at the Senior Center at 6 p.m. Also on the 24th, the Whitley County Farmers Market has a call-out meeting at Peabody Public Library at 6 p.m. February 28th is the annual 4-H Fish and Tenderloin Supper, 4 p.m. start time. I didn't see an end time. My guess is it's probably 7, but I don't know that for a fact, so just get there earlier. March 6th is the next lunch with the mayor, so mark your calendar. March 6th, it will be me talking. I won't have a guest on that one, so I'm pretty sure that's me talking. So tune in March 6th for the next lunch with the mayor. And March 13th is my State of the City address at the Peabody Public Library. It is free to attend. Please RSVP to the Chamber of Commerce. That is at noon. I think the event starts at noon. I think my speech will start at 12:30, but there is lunch provided, thanks to sponsors. So if you are interested, please contact the Chamber. It is at the Peabody Public Library, my State of the City address. I'd love to see you there. I do have a bit of a special announcement that I'm not going to go into right now, but it's going to be worth being there. So. March 21st, Columbia City Connect has Cabin Fever downtown shopping event from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So shop small business downtown in the Cabin Fever event. March 21st, Whitley County Consolidated Schools creates, or WCCS creates. They're having an entrepreneurial market and the K-12 art show from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. here, like I said, March 21st. Hope you can make it. March 30th is the Right to Life Legacy of Life Spring Banquet at Indian Springs Middle School at 6 p.m. April 3rd, City Hall is closed for Good Friday / Easter recognized or Easter observed. There we go. April 11th is the Buddy Battle 5K that starts at Eagle Park at 7 a.m. Again, all these events you can check out on Facebook, I believe. Check out information there. April 25th, Columbia City Connects Downtown Cleanup Day, 9 a.m. to noon. That's a great time to bring your kids or grandkids or siblings or whatever to come downtown to clean up the flower beds and the alleyways and the streets and all that kind of stuff. It's a great time. Lots of volunteers have came out in the past. It's been really, really super helpful to get our downtown ready for all the summer events. And then May 18th is the Whitley County Veterans Flag Placement at the cemeteries. They're asking to meet at the VFW at 8 a.m. That is the list of activities I have as of right now. I don't have anything else written down. However, there may have been something that I missed, so take that for what it is. If you have any last minute questions or comments, now is the time to place those in the chat. If you're live on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, go ahead and just email me or send a private message to our City of Columbia City, Indiana account. So thank you all for tuning in today. We're still battling snow. We're going to continue probably doing that into March, into April, potentially. My daughter's birthday is in early April, and we always seem to have snow somewhere in that April timeframe, although last year I actually think it was warm, which was great. But nevertheless, I want to thank you for tuning in. Thanks for caring about our community. This community cannot thrive, it cannot grow, it cannot build upon yesterday, if you will, without your support, without your help, and without you being a part of this community. So I appreciate that you continue to choose to be a part of this community. I appreciate that I have continue to have the honor of serving as your mayor and hopefully as the champion for this city. I know I've had a lot on my plate and all that kind of stuff, but our council is great. Our new clerk treasurer is great, and everybody. I want to just reassure you, everybody is working for the betterment of our community each and every day, and so appreciate all the work our departments do. Appreciate all the work that you do each and every day to make our community better today than we were yesterday. So with that, I don't have any more comments. So thank you so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful rest of February, and we'll see you again. I always do this. See you again on March 6th for our next Lunch with the Mayor. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.